Hi again. Here's a trick question that a lot of students get stuck on just because they have letters all over the place here and they get stuck what to do. X is between 0 and 2 pi and they're given this condition right here. So what you should do with these questions here, first of all, since it's X between 0 and 2 pi, definitely you should know your quadrants. All students take calculus. At the same time, go ahead and change your variables here to real numbers, like whole numbers. Okay, so a is greater than 1. You could make up any number. So I'm just going to choose 2 right here. Sine x plus 2. This bracket's right here. And of course, this equals 0, by the way. And b, I'm just going to make up a number. Okay, let's go for 3. Because b is supposed to be bigger than a, so 3 is bigger than 2. That's fine. Cos x. And c, you could choose any number that's bigger than b, because if you read this backwards, c is bigger than b, or b has to be less than c. So if c has to be bigger than b, any number is greater than 3, you could choose 4, 5, 6. Just going to choose 6 so that I don't run into any decimals. Equals 0. Now this becomes more obvious when you do that. And now what you're supposed to do here, solve for x. So 2 sine x plus 2 equals 0. And 2 sine x equals -2. As a matter of fact, you don't have to solve for x. They're just asking you determine the number of solutions. So here sine x would equal -1. So leave this alone for now. Now come here and do the same thing to 3 cos x minus 6 has to equal 0 if you want the whole thing to equal 0. 3 cos x equals 6. Divide both sides by 3, you get cos x equals 2. As a matter of fact, you don't even need this, the all students take calculus. I don't know why you put that there. But what you need to do here, for the first one here, if you look at the sine graph and how the sine graph looks like, the sine graph between 0 and 2 pi, something that you have to remember in Math 12. So you have this for the sine wave. Yeah, so sine x equals -1 between 0 and 2 pi. Just there. So you have one solution. Just one solution for this one. You don't have to tell them what the solution is. It's 3 pi over 2, but they're asking you how many solutions or the number of solutions. So they're not asking you to tell them what the angle is. And cos x equals 2, as you remember, that cos x has to be between -1 and 1. Because if you look at the cos graph also, the cos graph looks like this. So the cos graph is always between -1 and 1. And since cos x equals 2, you'll have no solution. Even if you take your calculator right there and go second cos 2, it will give you error because the cos will never have a value that's greater than 1 or less than -1. It's always between 1 and -1. And so therefore here, you have no solution when cos x equals 2. Therefore, this whole thing will have one solution for the whole answer right there. Now, if you ended up with, let's say, somehow you ended up with cos x equals 1/2 instead of 2, just as an assumption, then you know the cos is positive in the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant, according to all the students take calculus. And now I would know the cos would be positive right here and right there. So this will give me 2 solutions if that was 1/2 instead of 2. But because this is not the case, in cos x equals 2, that doesn't work. Cos x has to be between -1 and 1, and therefore there will be no solution for x. And that's it. That's how you answer this question. Somebody sent me this question. They get stuck on it just because with the variables, they didn't know where to go with them. But you know, whenever they give you variables here, just change them into numbers. And all kind of questions, you get questions in logs, you get questions in trigonometry, they give you variables here, and then you say, what do I do? You know, here maybe it's more obvious, even if you keep them as variables. Negative a divided by a will give you a -1 at the end. But when it's C and B, unless you know what C and B, what kind of numbers they are, you're not going to be able to see it unless you just change them to whole numbers following this restriction right there. And then you'll be able to do it with numbers, and this question will become a lot easier. Okay. Again, thank you for watching. Bye-bye.